I just got home from a trip and these were waiting for me when I got home. So I just want to show each card. A bunch of graded NASCAR cards. First one is 1993 action-packed Dale Earnhardt Sr. in Victory Lane with sons Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kerry Earnhardt, graded BGS 8.5 from 1993 action-packed. Very cool. 1996 Upper Deck Road to the Cup, Jeff Gordon. 1995 award winners. 1995 was the first year Jeff Gordon won a NASCAR Cup Series championship. Back then it was the Winston Cup. Very cool. Does not have, has a different tag than this one because the subgrades are on the front versus the subgrades being on the back. I believe that just has to do with when they were graded. Got a Jimmie Johnson 2000 Max Mint 9 BGS. Really cool card. This is when Max was owned by Upper Deck. Really cool card. Adam Petty 2000 Max, graded Gem Mint 9.5, 295 subgrades, 110 and then 19. Really nice card. Happy to have that one. And then this is just a Beckett. I think this is BCCG, but I don't know. I never knew what the difference was between the white labels, unless they ate. I'm just not as familiar with Beckett grading. So anyway, this is a 99 Press Pass Premium Extreme Fire die cut Dale Earnhardt Sr. card. Apparently there was race used rubber added to the texture of the tires. It's kind of like a spray of some sort, not a swatch of rubber or a circle or a slug of rubber that they cut out, but more turned into kind of a spray where they put it on or coated it on somehow. So I thought this was a really great pickup, Extreme Fire. That was one of the 1999 Press Pass Premium. I may have bought one box of this, but that was getting close to the end of my first run of collecting NASCAR cards. And then for the PSA, this is a beauty. His 1990 Max Dale Earnhardt Sr. sitting in the car. Just a classic shot of him sitting in the car, graded Mint 9, card number 116. These were hard cards to get in great condition because it's a black bordered card. A lot of the times the white would show through and it'd chip really easily, so I was really happy to pick this one up. And I've been eyeing it for a while, so very happy to add this to the graded NASCAR collection, which is growing. And we have Near Mint Plus 8.5 1990 Max Holly Farms card. Classic card. I do believe that this card exists without the Holly Farms sticker, also a different card stock. If you want to learn more about the differences in the 1990 Max set and all the different variations, because there are quite a few, check out the NASCAR podcast. You can check that out on Apple or on Google, and NASCAR podcast. It's a really incredible NASCAR racing podcast that's just dedicated to talking about racing cards, and it's incredible. It just reminds me of when I used to call into the back of the Beckett guides when I was a kid during the 90s. I used to wait every month for the new Beckett guide to show up, and they had advertisements for trading card shops that mainly dealt in NASCAR cards in the back of that book, and I would call every one of them every month, and sometimes throughout the month too, just trying to find new cards and to trade and sell and buy and do all that stuff. So it's a really great podcast. Check it out. And then Logan Ward is actually on, who's one of the hosts of the show, actually has his own YouTube channel. I believe Val might as well. I'm not sure about Jason, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, check them out. 1997 Wheels Viper Snake Eyes, Dale Earnhardt. Just a badass looking card. Badass looking card. Wheels always had some really crazy designs, and at the time they seemed really gaudy, and looking back they still seem gaudy, but they were eye-catching and really hard to get in great condition. So the fact that I could find this in an 8, I believe, is incredible, because they always had a lot of foils and they were trying to do a lot of different things to set themselves apart from the rest. So a lot of their materials were volatile. Now this is a 1994 action-packed Dale Earnhardt senior card, and it's kind of interesting that they airbrushed the Gatorade out of there. I guess they couldn't get the sponsorship rights or whatever, but anyway, this is 94 action packed. He used to always win speed weeks, the Twin 125 qualifiers and the Clash and all that stuff. He just dominated those races. And this is a mint 9, and look how old the tag is. I don't know if you want to call it the tag, but the slip that's inside the graded case, it just looks so freaking old. And this Petty isn't even the newest version. They have a different PSA holofoil logo now, but I mean, just look at, yeah, so very interesting, very cool. It's only, they're 1,688,303 submissions, so I know that's a lot, but that was still early on, so I should check this out. I might check it out on the website and find out when this was actually graded, if they give that information. But still, really cool card. Happy to have it. Action Packed was one of my favorites from back in the day. 1991 Tracks, Richard Petty, near mint 8. Another hard group of cards to get in great condition because they were black bordered, and then this card just slides around in the case just a little bit. You can see it kind of flopping around there. Not great. And there it is. There's a big blemish there right on the corner, a little print mark. It's unfortunate. Classic card of Richard Petty. Incredible portrait shot. Looks like it was taken with an 85mm lens. And just great all-around shot. Really captures his essence and what we think of when we think of Richard Petty. The glasses, the grin, the mustache, the cowboy hat, STP. Just incredible. Card number 43. Really happy to have that one. And then this next card, I used to buy the 93 Rookie Thunder quite often. I really enjoyed that card set. And this is a 1993 Jeff Gordon Rookie Thunder made by Wheels, which is a really cool set because it focused on rookie photography of NASCAR drivers, and they would go all the way all the way back, and they would mention the year that they first were in the Cup Series, or when they were in the Busch Series, or even like old modified and things like that. I think they showed some Kawicki in his old dirt track cars or short track cars, things like that. So, and I could be wrong if it was Kawicki or not, but I just remember it being a really interesting set because it was different than any of the other sets. The other sets would sometimes honor some of the up-and-coming drivers or maybe show like a flashback card. They definitely did that later in the 2000s. But in the 90s, they didn't really go back in history until this set. They did like the special Richard Petty set and things like that. They were geared specifically to honor you know, the career of Richard, or the 94 wheels Harry Gant subset, or, you know, special set that they made. But to have just a general set that was released in packs and everything, and it was just all to honor the rookies, was really cool. One thing that I do not like about this card, actually just the grading, the slab, is how high the card is placed. And they do have that, what do they call it, mylar or whatever, the plastic that's in there so it won't move around, but it just looks incorrect, especially compared to, say, this. You can see how much higher it is in the case, and it's just interesting, because it's just interesting. Not sure why they did it, or, you know, what the thought process was, or what the reasoning was, but here it is, and I'm just showing it to you. So got that in a mint 9. It was really nice. Again, there was wheels, and these were really high gloss, and really, again, kind of volatile cards, because they were so glossy. They were almost like, you know, the same type of shine you'd get on glossy photographs that you would get when you would get your 35 millimeter film printed. That type of shine. And they really tried to honor, I think it was kind of a nod, or trying to go in the same direction that Stadium Club baseball and football and basketball were going in. Just that really high quality photography. I think they touted like Kodak photography and all this stuff, and best photography and prints and everything. So anyway, cool set. 1995 Zenith, one of my favorite NASCAR sets. I did pull a Jeff Gordon helmet out of this product in 1995, and yeah, so I've been buying graded 95 Zenith whenever possible, and I did have an issue when I received my Gem Mint 10 that I bought off eBay. It did have some damage on it, so I sent it back to PSA, and apparently they didn't find any damage on the card, and they're sending it back still graded a Gem 10, even though in another video that I have, it shows clearly there's a wrinkle in the edge of the foil card. So they're sending them back to me. They all the grades on the 4 cards that were in holders that were flopping around, similar to how that Richard Petty was, they're all coming back with the same grade, which is, I don't know. I'm interested to see that Gem Mint 10. So anyway, 95 Zenith card number 78. When the drivers would be walking to their cars, fans who had hot passes and pit passes and things like that could kind of have a little bit of access to them, and they could, you know, run up to them, hand them a card, and they would sign it. So that was always great to see. Another graded mint 9 Gordon card 96 Road to the Cup from Upper Deck, honoring his sprint car days when he drove the Diet Pepsi sprint car. Really cool. This card doesn't necessarily have a great memory. I don't have a great memory of this card or anything like that from the 90s. Upper Deck was secondary to me in my collection, actually in 3rd spot, I would say, or 4th, because I would collect Press Pass and Max, which would trade off for the number 1 spot. Not that either one would necessarily fall to 2, if that makes sense. And then I would go Wheels, and then I would say Upper Deck. So, and then Pinnacle was just this 95 set was just a one-off. I really enjoyed that set, but the rest of the Pinnacle stuff I didn't really. Even the 96 Pinnacle I didn't even particularly care so much about, because I think they only had a Bobby Labonte helmets subset in that series, and that just wasn't something I was looking for, because they had so many of the NFL teams with that team. It just wasn't. It was cool, but I preferred to collect the Earnhardt, Gordon, all that stuff, the Ricky Rudd, all those helmets of those 95 Zenith. They were just beautiful cards, beautiful cards. Anyway, cool to have it. It's always great, in my opinion, to have graded 9 or 10 Jeff Gordon cards in the graded collection. Very happy about that. And then a little something newer, adding Bubba cards whenever I possibly can. I think this is Panini Donruss Bubba Wallace. Yeah, cracked ice. I am not all that familiar with all the different variations and stuff of the Panini products that they have, cracked ice and the mirror reds or whatever. I don't know, you know, obviously. So the newer NASCAR stuff is not really my style. However, it's not that it's not my style. It's just that it hasn't captured my attention as much as the other stuff did, as the 80s and 90s stuff. And this is numbered out of 999, number 790 of 999, graded a gem mint 10. So price was right, so I took it. And I think Bubba Wallace is going to have an incredible year next year. And I think it's always a good idea to have rare or interesting examples of Bubba Wallace. I just really believe in him and his career, and with Kurt Busch joining the 2311 team and Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan being the owners. I mean, there's just so much writing on the wall that this is going to be a great situation. So I'm pulling for Bubba, and I'm trying to add some Bubba graded cards in the best condition I can to my graded collection. Finally, 2001 Wheels High Gear, Jimmie Johnson, graded 9, card number 38. This is when he drove the number 92 Excedrin car. And there's a famous scene where I think he was at a road course, can't remember which one, but he just like lost his brakes or whatever, just slammed into the tire barrier, and then he got out of the car, stood on the roof, and like put his hands up, and you know, was like yeah, I did it, you know. So Jimmie Johnson, 7-time NASCAR champion, one of the greatest of all time in the sport, doesn't get his due as far as how incredible he was. And that probably has to do with the fact that he won 5 championships in a row. And sometimes, for some reason, and I wonder what the psychology is, but when people have that kind of dominance, when teams have that kind of dominance, they kind of like slough them off a little bit. And it's very interesting dynamic. And I think soon enough, that's going to get washed away. And Jimmie Johnson's achievements, not only to just the NASCAR community that just know what he's done and understand his career, and even it's gonna wash away the eventually it's gonna wash away not the naysayers. I don't want to be so cliche, and hopefully whoever's watching this video can understand what I'm getting at, that eventually the opinion of Jimmie Johnson is going to shift, and the blasé attitude towards his career will hopefully just completely wash away, because his numbers, his consistency just speaks for themselves, and I just don't think people are paying enough attention to this man's incredible career. 7-time champion, one of the some of the most wins in the sport, just an incredible driver overall. And there they are. These are the NASCAR trading card, the graded cards that I came back to after coming home from my trip. I hope that you enjoyed this video, just sharing a record of each of these cards before I put them in my graded case. And that's it. So if you like this content, I hope that you subscribe and leave a like, leave a comment. If you saw a card here that brought back a memory, or if you have a comment on it, I love talking about NASCAR cards, or reading opinions, or hearing opinions, and about cards and everything like that. So hopefully I get to hear from you soon. All right, thanks a lot.